Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video I'm going to be filming my review and 3 looks on the new ColourPop times Pony Makeup BITTI collection. I was actually so lucky enough to receive the PR kit. This is like the first PR kit I've been sent from ColourPop. Like I've been sent full collections from ColourPop, but I've never been sent like the actual PR kit. It just kind of opens out like this. It has the bubblegum machine and this whole collection is like bubblegum themed. I just put the packaging back in here, but all the products are like out here. So I have all of the items to review for you guys in today's video, which I am super lucky enough. But I did want to mention that I did get sent everything from ColourPop. I didn't purchase anything with my own money, but always know that that's never going to sway my opinion. I'll always give you guys my honest opinion. So yeah, with that being said, if you guys are interested in hearing about my thoughts on the collection, seeing some swatches, comparisons, and my 3 looks, then just continue watching. So with this collection, there is no new formula. Everything is a well-loved formula that we have seen from ColourPop before. So mainly in this review today, I'll just be speaking about the shade selections and how I like them. I'm not really going to be talking too much about the formula because we got a pressed powder and eyeshadow, which you guys know I love, ultra blotted lips I love, super shock cheeks I love, super shock highlights I love. So it's like pretty much all the formulas in this collection I like. So I'm just going to be talking more about the shade range and shade selection. So first, let's talk about the eyeshadow palette first. This is called Candy Button. It does come with a mirror and this is $15 US, which is $3 more than the usual 9 pans. I'm not really too sure why. It does come in a different packaging. That could be it as well. It's in a cardboard, so it feels like the 12 pans. Usually the 9 pans come in that plastic, so maybe packaging wise they had to bump it up to $3, but that's the only difference. But in this palette you will receive 5 mattes, 1 metallic, 2 pressed glitters, and 1 super shock formula. I'm pretty sure this is super shock. It feels like a super shock. So when I first saw this palette, I honestly didn't think too much of it. It didn't really speak out to me. It wasn't really anything unique to me, and after playing around with it I still kind of feel the same. Although I loved all the looks that I created and it was very fun, it was very girly, I just felt like this could be easily duped with other shades that you have in your collection from ColourPop or from other brands. These shades to me are nothing new. Because there are 2 pressed glitters in this palette, it is kind of like, ooh, I know for a lot of you guys the pressed glitters are a make or break deal when it comes to buying an eyeshadow palette. I personally would have loved just more metallics, maybe just 1 pressed glitter. I feel like 2 pressed glitters is a lot, especially in a 9 pan. Don't get me wrong, I like the palette, I like the shades, I like the looks that I did. It's just nothing wow to me. And I think another thing with this palette is when you look at it, especially with the mattes, they seem quite muted, but once you apply on your eyes it's actually pretty bright, especially these 2 matte shades on the top. So overall I do like the palette, but I don't think it was a thing that I really needed in my collection, if you know what I mean. Whether I would use the palette every day or not, I think she did a great job with it. It's just for me and what I have in my collection, I already have a lot of shades that look like this already, if you get my flow. The mattes really remind me of the She palette, so if you guys have that, it kind of gives me that vibe. So it was just like a so-so product for me. Moving on to the next category, we now have the Super Shock Cheeks. She came out with 3 blushes and 2 highlights. These are all $9 US each. So let's first talk about the blushes. We have 3 shades, and actually all of the 3 shades I really like. I haven't used Double Bubble yet. It just didn't go well with any of the looks that I created, but I know I'm gonna really like this. All of these blushes are up my alley. They're very muted, very nice for everyday wear, and I think for blush it's pretty hard to make a bad blush, if you know what I mean, because blush, if you just go in with a light hand, it's pretty universal. So a lot of these blushes I actually really like, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of use out of these. I adore the Super Shock blushes. They're one of my favorite formulas, so I really like these 3 and I'm glad I have these in my collection. My favorite would probably have to be Simply Sweet. It's just like a muted cool tone pink, but it's very pretty on the cheeks. It reminds me of Between the Sheets, which is a very popular Super Shock blush. You guys will see in my comparisons what they compare to, because I do feel like we have seen similar shades from ColourPop before. If you don't have any of the Super Shock cheeks shades, then I would say, you know, pick up one of these. These are very, very pretty shades and very wearable shades for an everyday look. And then we have two highlights. This one is called Glow Burst, and it's in like that marble tie-dye effect, so when you swirl it around in certain areas you might get like a different shade. This one is pretty glittery in my opinion, so if you don't like a glitter highlight then you will not like this one, and I don't like a glitter highlight, so I don't really see myself wearing this like very often. I like my highlights to be very metallic, but she has another highlight that is more on the metallic side. This is called Frosty. In the pan it looks like a light gold, but once it goes onto your face it will come off as a pink. And sadly this shade on my skin, when I do look straight, I feel like you can see kind of like a dark shadow on my cheekbone, so I feel like it's a little bit too dark on my skin. It does look very pretty, but I think when you look straight it just doesn't look well on my skin tone. But I do prefer Frosty more than Glow Burst just because of the formula, but it's good that she gives you like two options if you like a metallic highlight or if you like a glittery highlight. Now we have 3 ultra blotted lips. These are $8 each, or you can get it in a set for $22. Right now I am wearing the shade Holly Lolly, and the other two shades is called Chewholic and Juicy Drop. If you guys haven't tried the ultra blotted lip formula before, they are amazing. It's kind of like a lip tint, like a matte lip tint, so it's pretty sheer. I actually really like these shades. I think these shades really scream pony to me, or like a very Korean lip color, especially the two brighter ones. Can create more of like a gradient lip with them, and that will look really pretty. So these are not like my everyday like go-to shades, but sometimes I do want to create a gradient lip, and I think Juicy Drop is a very pretty like lip tint color to do that. So I think Juicy Drop would probably have to be my favorite, and then Chewholic would be my second favorite. They're all super pretty. These probably are the standouts in the collection. And lastly we have the Super Shock Foursome. This is $20. You can only get these shades in the foursome, you can't buy them individually. Two of them again is in that tie-dye formula where there's like a mixture of colors, and the other two is just like a solid Super Shock shadow. For me personally, Super Shock eyeshadows are not like my favorite. I just find them a little bit hard to like apply on, especially with your finger if you want to be very precise with it. And I feel like using Super Shock shadows, you can only use your fingers, you can't use a brush. It makes it very hard. It doesn't really pick up onto the brush and apply it onto your skin. You have to use your fingers. I mean, they're very pretty, but I feel like the foursome out of everything is the one thing that you can skip out on, but that's just my personal preference. I don't really lean towards the Super Shock shadows. So that was pretty much the whole collection, my quick rapid speed review. I feel like I got through that pretty quick because we're just talking about these shades, we're not really talking about the formula. But if you do want to get this collection, it is $90, and if you want to get it in the PR kit, it is $97. For what you're getting, there's a lot of products and a great value, and you're supporting an Asian influencer who's an amazing makeup artist. Like, I love Pony, she's probably like my favorite makeup artist. With any collab, I feel like we just need to jump on it and support, because if brands see that like, oh, we're collabing with this Asian influencer, we should collab with more, you know, and there's more opportunities for more people in our community. Although it's not my favorite collection, if you just look at the packaging, you know it's not me. You know this is not my kind of vibe and like the colors I go for. I'm not trying to say this collection is bad, but I do have a really, really big makeup collection, guys. So it's very hard for me to find something that is very unique and that I haven't seen before. I hope this review didn't come off like sad or bad. I love Pony and I support this collection, but I'm always just going to be 100% honest with you guys. So yeah, with that being said, we can now move on to the swatches, the comparisons, and then my 3 looks. Jumping straight into the first look, I'm going to be first taking the shade Sweet Capacity, and this is going to be my transition shadow. I'm going to put that straight into my crease using windshield wiping motions. I just want a good wash of this color all over my lid space and in my crease area. Next, I am taking the shade Bubblicious, and I'm going to use this at the outer third of my eyes to kind of deepen up the look a little. The shade is like one shade darker than Sweet Capacity, so you're not going to see too much of like a contrast between the two, but it is going to deepen up the eye look slightly. I'm also going to take this shade onto my lower lash line as well. I'm going to first focus the color right at the outer third and then sweep what is ever left on my brush and towards the inner third of my lower lash. Now I am taking the shade Gummy a Break. I'm going to first use my ring finger to apply this on and get that pigmentation there, and then I will take a brush to blend that out around the crease area. I'm also going to take that towards my inner corners as well to highlight that area. Around the crease area, you just want to kind of diffuse it out. We don't want anything to be so harsh. We want everything to look very diffused and soft. I will be quickly using the Super Shock shadow in the shade Walk on Air from the collection, and I'm going to apply that right on top of Gummy a Break. It's just going to enhance that shadow a little bit more, give it more reflection, more vibrancy. And now I am taking the shade Hubble Bubba. I'm going to use this to kind of line my lash line and also give me a smoky wing. Because I want this look to look a lot more subtle and softer, I think using an eyeshadow for your liner is the perfect way to go. I then just used a brown eyeliner to tightline my upper lash line. This one is from Odyssey Inn. And then I took the ColourPop Creme Gel Liner in the shade Honeydew to tightline my bottom waterline, just to kind of brighten up the eye look. For lashes today, I will be wearing the Kiss lashes in the style Ritzy. These are like my favorite natural pair of lashes. And then I just took my eyelash glue and stuck on these little heart-shaped gems just to kind of tie in the sweet bubblegum candy look. For blush today, I took the Super Shock Cheek in the shade Sugar Coated from the collection. I applied that onto my cheekbones and also on my nose as well, just to give that very young, flushed, fresh look. And then for highlighter, I took the Super Shock Cheek in the shade Glow Burst. This shade has a lot of glitters in it, so it's not like a metallic highlight. You will see a lot of glitter particles, but I think for this look, it does fit the look perfectly. And this, guys, is going to complete the first look. I hope you guys enjoyed this soft pink subtle makeup look. But for my final lip pairing, I went with the Ultra Blotted Lip in the shade Chewholic as my base, and then I took Juicy Drop and placed that at the inner rim of my lips to kind of give like a gradient lip. I kind of failed. It kind of just looks like Juicy Drop is all over my lips, but that's the combo that I did. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this first look. I think it's very fun, fresh, very young looking, especially with these pigtails. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this first look. Alright, and for the second look, we're gonna start off with the shade Bubblicious as our transition shadow. Again, just working that straight into the crease using windshield wiping motions. And as always, your transition shadow is going to be the base for the eye look. It's the shadow that's gonna peek through underneath all of the darker shadows. So you do want to blend that up towards your brow bone. I am also taking this shade onto my lower lash line as well, just sweeping that from the outer corner to the inner corner and making sure at the outer corner we are connecting the shadows together. Moving on to the shade Poppin', I'm going to start packing this on to my lid space. I'm gonna pack this color on first just to get the pigment there, and then once I have that pigment, I will further blend using circular motions up and towards my crease where the transition shadow is, and then you'll eventually see a slow gradient effect. As well with this shade, I am taking that onto my lower lash line as well, just sweeping that from the outer corner right to the inner corner. Now I am taking the shade Hubba Bubba. I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing by just packing this onto my lid space. I'm not going to bring it up too high into my crease area. I'm mainly just focusing the shadow onto my lids. And once again, taking this shadow onto my lower lash line as well. But this time I'll be using more of a definer brush to really press that up against my waterline. Now using one of these Super Shock shadows, this is in the shade Gumball. I'm just using my ring finger. I'm gonna first tap that on at the center of my lid, and then I'm just gonna blend that out around the edges. Wherever your finger touches first, that's where the most pigment is going to be. I just want this to be like very diffuse. I don't want to be cutting out my crease or anything, so using your finger is going to help achieve that soft diffuse look. I'm also taking gumdrop to highlight my inner corners and also my brow bone. Now I'm taking the shade Sweet Life, and this is one of the pressed glitters in the palette. I'm just taking a little bit on a brush and I'm just going to place that right at the center of my lids on top of Gumball. But I'm only going to focus it at the center. I'm not going to like blend it out towards the edges. Again, this is going to catch the light very well just because it's at the center of our eyes. And now it is time for eyeliner. I am creating a smaller wing than I usually would. It's a little bit dramatic, but it's smaller than I usually would do. Because this look looks very like dramatic, very dark, there's a lot of glitter, I think a wing will complement this eye look well. I'm also just taking a brown eyeliner into my bottom waterline. And to complete the eye look off, I am taking my House of Lashes Demure Light, and these will be my falsies for today's look. Now moving back onto the face, for my blush I'll be using the Super Shock Cheek in the shade Simply Sweet, and for my highlight I will be using the Super Shock Cheek in the shade Frosty. Alright guys, so this is the second look completed. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For the final lip pairing, I decided to go with the Ultra Blotted Lip in the shade Holly Lolly. Because this eye look is a little bit more pink based, I think this Ultra Blotted Lip just complemented the look a little bit better than the rest. This look, I feel like if you wore it out to the clubs where there's like a lot of like artificial lighting, I think the glitters will really catch that really nicely, and especially at like nighttime. And finally, on to the last look. We're going to be starting off with the shade Sweet Capacity, and this is going to be our transition shadow. As always, just putting that straight into the crease using windshield wiping motions. Because for this final look we are creating a half cut crease, you want to make sure that you are blending this transition shadow all the way up towards your brow bone. Next, I am going into the shade Jelly Baby. I'm going to actually first work this at the outer third of my eyes, and then I'll bring that in towards the inner part of my crease. As always with half cut creases, you want the cut crease to contrast against a dark shadow. So making sure you are focusing a lot of the product at the inner third of your eyes as well. So that way we can see that contrast once we do cut the crease. Now I am taking the shade Hubba Bubba, and I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing. First working at the outer third and then taking that in towards the inner part of my crease to get that contrast going on. Now I am taking my P. Louise eyeshadow base and I'm going to be using this to help cut out my crease. I just take that into the inner third of my eyes and bring that up towards my crease area and just kind of like map out a rough shape. Then I would take a thinner paintbrush to really carve out and define that half cut crease by following the natural curve of my eye shape. Taking Poppy, I'm just using my ring finger first because this is a super shock shadow. It's hard using a brush with this shadow. So just using my ring finger, I'm gonna place that right on top of that P. Louise base. And then I will kind of take a brush and kind of work it around the crease area just to really get that definition going on. I also did take a bit of 7th Heaven, the Super Shock shadow on its own, and put that on top of Poppy just to kind of enhance the shade a little bit more, add a little bit more glitter to the eyes. It really does sparkle and gleam and it's very, very pretty. Just going back into the shade Jelly Baby really quickly, I'm going to use this to help diffuse the glitter shadows and the mattes by just pressing where they meet, sweeping left and right to really get that blend. And now I'm just taking my eyeliners and I'm going to be creating a wing for this look. I think for half cut creases, a dramatic wing is just necessary. But with my wing, I'm actually taking a black eyeshadow just to kind of smoke it out and diffuse it a little bit, just making it a little bit more smoky and more dramatic. And I did add a little bit into the outer third as well. For lashes today, I will be wearing the House of Lashes Iconic Lights. These are my favorite lashes to pair with a cut crease look. Now moving on to the lash line, I am taking Jelly Baby once again and I'm going to wash this all over my lower lash just to get a good wash of color and just even out the eyes. Going back into the shade Hubba Bubba, I'm going to press this up against my bottom waterline to give more definition to the lash line. And lastly, just taking a brown eyeliner, I'm going to use that to tightline my entire bottom waterline. This one is from Artisy In. And now onto my face. For blush, I am using the Super Shock Cheek in the shade Simply Sweet. And for my highlighter, I'm using the Super Shock Cheek in the shade Frosty. And this, guys, is going to complete the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed another half cut crease from me. For my final lip pairing, I went with the Ultra Blotted Lip in the shade Holly Lolly again. This look did turn out very purpley, so I think this Ultra Blotted Lip suited it the best. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this final look. You guys know I love a good half cut crease, so here is another one for you. Alright guys, so that is going to conclude today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up for me. I would appreciate it so much if you did. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you guys think of this collection? Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys and I will see you in my next video. Bye!